Welcome to the March 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. A meeting was held at 6 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall for clarification of the agenda. The following is an official agenda of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Discussion and commission action will be limited to those items on the agenda. Any citizen who wishes to address the commission shall first be recognized by the chair and shall give his or her name for the record. If a citizen wishes to read documentation of any sort to the commission, he or she shall first seek permission from the chair. There's a 3-minute time limitation for public testimony to the commission. Agenda item number 1, roll call and disclosures. Aislinn, will you please call the roll?
Eugene Bartu,
Here, and I viewed the applicant's site, and I have nothing to disclose.
Benjamin Gomez,
Here, and I did a site visit with nothing to disclose.
Adam Geyer,
Here, nothing to disclose.
Markiana Hewlett,
Present, nothing to disclose.
Annie Mendoza,
Here, nothing to disclose.
Richard Phillips,
Present with nothing to disclose.
and Desiree Valladolid.
Present, nothing to disclose.
The commission may wish to waive the oral readings of the Planning and Zoning Clarification meeting minutes held January 8th, 2025, and to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion by the commission on the February 2025 meeting minutes? With no further discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for the January 8th, 2025 as Planning and Zoning Commission meeting as presented.
I second the motion.
You could jump in
Give
at
us a second since I heard two.
2 seconds.
Okay. I have a motion by Hewlett and a second by Mendoza. Aislinn, will you call the vote, please?
Hewlett,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Bartu,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Geyer,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Valladolid.
Yes.
Agenda item number 3 is the public hearing for preliminary plat submitted by Wayward Kinghorn Management LLC, represented by Sunrise Engineering, has submitted a preliminary plat application to subdivide the property into approximately 12 lots for a townhome development. I will now read the procedure for a public hearing. The application presentation is limited to 10 minutes. There's a 3-minute limit on public testimony. Those presenting or testifying will state your name for the record. While giving testimony, questions and comments should be pertinent to the application and should be addressed only to the commission. During the public hearing, there should be no questions, comments, or applause from the audience. Should the meeting go longer than 8 p.m., the commission may take a scheduled 10-minute break. Commission members must make their decision regarding the application on facts already in the record and information presented during the public hearing. Protocol requires the commission members and audience be recognized by the commission chair prior to speaking. The time has been set aside for the commission to hear comments from the public regarding a request by Wayward Kinghorn Management LLC, represented by David Hassan of Sunrise Engineering, for a preliminary plat subdivision to be known as Stratton Estates Division 4. The subject property located at 1256 Kinghorn Road and is zoned residential medium-density single-family. The applicant is proposing to subdivide the property into 12 residential lots. I declare the public hearing open, and I would like to invite the applicant to come to the podium.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Rob Hoosevelt. I'm with Sunrise Engineering. Here tonight representing Wayward Kinghorn Management for the subdivision, the proposed subdivision called Stratton Estates Division 4. I'm really going to keep my comments minimal, mainly here to answer questions that you have. I feel like the staff report did a great job of summarizing everything and just wanted to emphasize just a few points. The first is that this parcel does qualify for infill development, and with that being said, we do meet the minimum lot size reductions. We have met all the infrastructure and public rights-of-way requirements. We did have a meeting with all the department heads through a site plan review. We received all of their comments and put them into our plan. So I think that this is a pretty straightforward proposal before you, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions from the commission for our applicant?
Do not.
I didn't see anything either that caused me concern. Okay?
Okay.
Great, thank you. We'll now have a presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commission. Becky Babb, Planning Manager with the city. As noted before you, this is a preliminary plat application, also known as Stratton Estates Division 4. So this is the fourth extension of this particular subdivision. The proposal calls for the platting of 1.11 acres, more or less, into approximately 11 townhome lots. The plat is 12 lots, but there are 11 proposed townhome lots with street parking and private drive, and a proposed extension of the road of Stratton Lane, excuse me, not road, it's Stratton Lane. The project is generally between Troy Lane and Kinghorn Road. It's zoned residential, medium density, single family, which does allow proposed townhomes outright. They are utilizing the infill development standards as set forth under Title 17 of the zoning code. The minimum lot size in the underlying zone would be 4,000 square feet per lot. However, with infill development standards, a 60% reduction is permitted, which would allow for a minimum lot size of 2,400 square feet. All the townhomes in that, all the lots in that, in the proposed subdivision do meet the minimum of the 2,400 square feet. All property owners within a 300-foot radius of the existing boundaries have been provided notice of the public hearing in order that they can provide public comment on the application, and notice was published properly in the Idaho State Journal according to state code. 2 signs were posted on the property on February 25th, 2025 in accordance with code. As far as public comment, we have received 1 phone call from an adjacent landowner in opposition to the application, and a phone call from the Kinghorn Water Users Association. They were not in favor nor opposed, but were requesting that the irrigation be more clearly defined in order to allow the Water Users Association full utilization of their irrigation rights, regardless of the state of the development. As an additional note, in your optional motions in the staff report, this is not a recommendation. So in both of your optional motions, it says motion to recommend. You would just strike the word recommend for whoever makes the motion, whether that were approval or denial. This wouldn't go to city council because it's a preliminary plat, so that's a mistake on my part. So if you could just strike the word recommend, it would be either a motion to deny or a motion to approve outright. So that concludes my presentation. If there are any questions for city staff.
I have a question. So what, and this is more just for public understanding, what aspects of this lot make it something that should get the infill? What aspects of this make it appropriate for infill development?
So our infill development standards are in certain residential zones. If the lot is smaller than 3 acres and is filling in between current existing development. And so in this instance, it meets the recommended criteria, not the recommended, the criteria under that section 16 of the zoning ordinance for infill development standards, which does allow for that reduction in lot size.
Okay. Thank you.
Meryl, do you have anything additional?
No.
And the Public Works memorandum was attached to the staff report, so there are conditions in that Public Works memorandum.
Is there a condition in there? I'm sorry, Becky, I have a question for you. Is there a condition in there in regards to the, and I'm not familiar with this, so hopefully I can learn a little bit about the Water Users Association. Is there a interest that they would have in this property as a result of development? Go ahead, Merrill.
Merrill Coyle, Public Works Engineer for the City of Pocatello. Yes, in the Public Works Memorandum, it's actually under the development conditions item number 7, we're asking for some more details on that ditch, how it's going to, any of the structures, the culvert under the road and so forth. So we're asking a little bit more detail as the final plans are being put. There is the state laws where not interrupting, service to those, to the water users downstream and that. So you can't just shut it off and that because it runs across your property and that and everything there. So we are asking for that to be a little bit more detailed, how they're gonna do that and how they're gonna keep the crossing maintained underneath the roadway and any other appurtenances that may be needed to keep that ditch flowing to the downstream users.
Great. So, sorry, just to make sure I understand, the state has requirements, which I'm familiar with.
It's
as
the
far-
the water laws and
By
stuff with the
Department of Water,
irrigation
We
and
can't shut
that.
it down. Yep.
Yeah, you can't,
So-
just because it crosses your property, you
Right.
can't shut it down.
So-
And you got to keep that water moving.
Developer will be under those requirements set forth by the state. Additionally, the city is asking them to provide, before we approve this, they will need to provide some sort of plan showing what it is and how they're going to maintain
How,
the
yeah,
ditch,
how they
basically.
mitigate anything there to keep the water moving and that. I guess that maintain isn't there, but they'd still need to make sure that the ditch is viable and still accessible for the maintenance of the Water Users Association through there. And we're just asking for a little bit more detail as they are working on the final plans, which is typical that would end up coming to the city council.
Very good. Okay. Thanks, Merrill. That answers my question. Any other questions for Merrill? Okay, great. Thank you. Before starting public testimony, I would like to remind each person, when you come to the podium, you must state your name. Please remember to only address the commission, not the audience or the applicant representative. You have 3 minutes to testify and will be asked to stop when time runs out. Keep questions and comments pertinent to the application, and do not duplicate questions, concerns, or comments covered by previous testimony heard today. I'd like to invite anyone providing testimony in support of the application to come forward at this time. Sir, are you here to provide testimony in support of the application?
Well, I'm from the Kinghorn Water Users Association that was just discussed.
Okay.
Becky sent me a plat, I know. And,
You need to come up to the podium so we can hear you and it goes on record.
okay, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I got
You need to introduce yourself also for the
yeah,
record.
it's Richard Seifus. I'm president of the Kinghorn Water Users Association. And I received a plat from Becky. It's a little difficult for me to read it. I do see one place where they show the irrigation access, but I don't know if it shows both, because there's 2 ditches through the property. There's a 10-foot irrigation easement. Maybe can I check with Becky and see if I'm not seeing the other one, because there are 2 ditches.
Yeah. This time is set aside for anyone that has any questions or, testimony in support of. And so if you do have some questions, you can grab Becky and ask her, but right now is probably not the time in the meeting
Go
for
ahead and
that.
talk to her then.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Great,
right.
thank you. And just, well, anyways, yeah, that's great. Thank you, Richard, appreciate it. Anyone else providing testimony in support of the application? Anyone providing testimony uncommitted to the application? Uncommitted, sorry, yeah. What does that mean? Neither for or against? Maybe you have some concern.
I'm for or I'm against. Can I stand up?
Yep, now's a great time.
My name is Dan Johnson. I own the property at 1292 Kinghorn and 1272 Kinghorn. So these apartments that you're talking about are going in my backyard, literally. We have water users' rights out there. And what's happened now is the city put that half road in, has now become a thorough road from Troy over to Kinghorn, which they promised it wouldn't. When Mr. Sterner gave them the property and the rights, they said, no, you weren't going to do that. Now we're changing it again. I can give you the count. And I don't know if you're familiar with the 1256 Kinghorn Road past wasn't so good. Talk to your police department about it. But what I do is I don't say, because I know progress is here, but I lived out there my whole life. You cut the deer off, that was a migration for the deer, they're gone. So, technology keeps growing and growing and growing. But what I'd like to see is stick to the original plan, single family dwelling. Put a nice big house in there so the kids can have a nice big yard to play in, something that'll be long forgot in time. But we have one precious piece of property we can do that with. So instead of adding 10 more units, put one nice house in there with a nice family. Make our community nice. So, the water rights on all the users, on all the ditches out there, I have to get involved with that too, because that's part of the irrigation bunch that we're hooked up with. So, I'd just like to say, I'm not against it, but I was hoping that they'd have some details and drawings here today to let me see what's going to be in my backyard. All you guys, would you like to have those directly in your backyard? I don't think so. So that's all I have to say, and thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to provide testimony uncommitted to the application? Anyone providing testimony opposing the application?
Can I go for the one before?
Yeah, uncommitted, sure.
My name is Austin Fisher. Just kind of wanted to come by. And I know I should have probably looked at more of the planning online and kind of seen how it was looking. But I kind of second just the fact of why bringing or trying to hold the single family kind of living that we have in the area. That's why I bought my home. That's why I wanted to move my family in. And great development's always happening in Pocatello. We all know that. It's how we all grow. It's how we all work. It's why we're here. It's what we live for. But it just sucks when it's happening in our backyard. And obviously, David and his team have already spent plenty of money trying to get the approval. And no one wants to be told no, that they can't do something with their own property, especially financial reasons or even just because you want to. But yeah, it just kind of sucks to see a great single-family, large plot subdivision be turned into an area of townhomes. So I guess that's kind of all the topics and reason I'm here today. But thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Austin. Anyone else uncommitted? Okay, anyone providing testimony opposing the application? Would you like to provide rebuttal?
Rob Hoosevelt, Sunrise Engineering. So the two main topics that I kind of gathered from the comments were, the first was the irrigation ditch. Second was the use. Speaking specifically to the first of the irrigation ditch, as Merrill said, so that's kind of state law. We will maintain access. We will maintain those water rights. Those details of how that will be done in the final plans that will be submitted to the city so they can review that. It is a condition as part of Merrill's memo, so I feel like that's pretty well covered. So irrigation ditch should be okay. Second one is that the proposed use that the developer is applying for is a permitted use in this zoning. I think it's, I can definitely appreciate the comments. At the same time, I also think a variety of uses and products is good for the city of Pocatello. So it's a permitted use. Do you have any other questions for me?
No questions, thank you. With no further testimony or rebuttal, I declare the public hearing closed. How does the commission wish to proceed? I will entertain a motion or discussion.
Well, I'd like to just, points of discussion here. The property is zoned to have this kind of zoning. It was not zoned to have one big, this is not, the zoning for this development is in line with the zoning that's in place for it. And it's zoned as residential medium density, which allows for this. Now, they've asked for for a reduction in lot size, but by and large, townhomes and homes of this type are permitted outright in this area. So it's not farmland, it's not meant for large lot. That's not what the zoning is for it and hasn't been for a long time. So I understand the concerns with this going in there, but we also know that a strength in a community, it strengthens the community to have lots of different types of housing within the community. That there's big lots, there's small lots, there's higher density, and it's up to the owner of the lot, how they want to develop it. He's allowed to do this in accordance with the zoning for the lot that's in place. We don't have a way to deny this, just on that. So, that's my comment on it.
Okay, great. Any other discussion or motions?
Given that, I'll make a motion. I move to approve the preliminary plat application from Wayward Kinghorn Management, finding that the application does meet the standards for approval under Chapter 16.20.050 of the Pocatello Municipal Code, with the conditions listed, which includes the concerns about the irrigation, okay, in the staff report, and authorize the chair to sign the findings of fact.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Hewlett and a second by Guyer. Aislinn, will you please call the vote?
Hewlett,
Yes.
Dyer,
Yes.
Bartu,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Valadolid.
Yes.
Motion carried.
With that, we will adjourn our meeting.
Mr. Chair, now, this then goes before the city council then,
Finding plat.
right?
Disciplinary.
The findings of fact.
Don't find it.